If every American gun owner somehow came together and formed one giant army, could they actually defeat a real professional military? We're not just looking at the 400 million firearms. In this scenario, 20 million adults bring a hidden edge. Millions of drones and modern night vision gear. Can garage-built tech crush steel tanks on a flat, open field? Before we decode this insane clash, hit that subscribe button to analyze this with me. Welcome to the world of numbers. This question isn't new, but today's approach is different. Imagine every American gun owner uniting as a single block against a real military force. To keep things scientific, we're setting some brutal rules. No sniping from rooftops, no home field advantage, no urban hiding, and zero help from the actual U.S. military. This is a straight-up fight on a flat, open plain, no hills, no obstacles for guerrilla tactics. This force only uses privately owned weapons. But instead of just traditional rifles, we're calculating a new variable, the garage tech revolution. Millions of civilian drones, night vision, and thermal scopes are now in civilian hands. Can this mix of 400 million guns and high-end toys shake a professional military system? Let's begin. Let's start with the real numbers. While you civilians own about 400 million guns more than there are people, ownership isn't spread evenly. Surveys show there are around 80 to 85 million individual owners. If we filter out kids, the elderly, and those physically unfit for combat, you're left with a core group of 10 to 20 million adults ready to fight. That alone is the largest pool of potential fighters in human history. But the real difference is what they carry besides their AR-15s, precision hunting rifles, or pistols. This civilian army owns a massive stockpile of high-tech gear that was once exclusive to special forces. We're talking millions of plate carriers, night vision goggles, and thermal scopes that make night combat a real possibility. Specifically, the explosion of civilian drones has created a massive aerial reconnaissance network capable of providing real-time battlefield imagery to even the smallest squads. While heavy weapons like belt-fed machine guns or armored vehicles are rare museum pieces. The combination of self-trained skills and smart connectivity through civilian devices turns this group into a high-potential digital army. They aren't just individual shooters. They're a digital force with situational awareness that goes far beyond 20th century infantry standards. This isn't just about numbers. It's about a tech-savvy force that could change the rules of engagement. What do you think? Let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching. Ever wondered if sheer numbers could overwhelm a modern army? Let's flip the script and look at the other side. A modern military, even a small one, brings advantages that numbers just can't erase. These are full-time soldiers, trained to fight as a unified machine, not just a crowd of individuals. They have a professional command structure, with officers and sergeants coordinating everything from troop movements to fire support and logistics. On open ground, armored vehicles simply shrug off rifle fire. Mortar and artillery can strike from miles away, far beyond the reach of any civilian weapon. Air power and attack drones punish any large, exposed group. But the real game changer? Electronic warfare. Professional militaries can jam all civilian signals. In an instant, millions of drones drop from the sky. GPS goes dark. Even the best mesh networks fall silent. It's not just guns versus tanks. It is a clash between civilian gadgets and specialized military systems built to dominate the entire electronic spectrum. All right, let's talk about a wild matchup. A tiny professional army against millions of armed American citizens. Who wins? First up, we have Category A armies. Think Belize, Suriname, or Jamaica. These are professional forces, but they're small. Maybe a few thousand troops with light gear rifles, mortar, maybe some armored cars, but no heavy tanks. Now, imagine dropping 4,000 of these elite soldiers onto a flat plain, facing a sea of millions of American civilians. The psychological horror for those soldiers would be immense. Looking at the horizon and seeing an endless wall of people advancing toward you? Terrifying. Initially, the professional troops would inflict massive casualties. Their training and discipline would shine. But here's the twist: civilian tech. Thousands of drones would fill the sky, making the battlefield completely transparent, revealing every single machine gun nest. The soldiers would start to panic as they realize their ammo is running out, and their numbers are dwindling, while the human wave just keeps coming. Once the fight spreads out, the small army's firepower is simply swallowed by the sheer scale of the conflict. In this scenario, the American Citizen Army wins. It would be a slow, bloody, and painful victory, but sheer numbers eventually overwhelm every technical advantage. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more. Here's a cold, hard truth. No matter who wins the next election, society is on a fragile edge. When the modern world finally breaks, a closet full of rifles won't help you restore the internet or produce antibiotics. That's why I need to show you this. It's called The Book, the Ultimate Guide to Rebuilding Civilization from the Ground Up. Inside its 400 pages are legitimate engineering diagrams and step-by-step instructions. This is the key to remaking everything, from radios and water turbines to essential medicines and tools, all from scratch. But there's more. Hidden within the pages is a treasure hunt, a secret that leads to a group called the Order of Seekers. If knowledge is the only weapon that never runs dry, then this book is the most critical piece of gear you could ever own. It's about winning the real survival war that begins after the last gunshot fades. This is how we rebuild. Thanks for watching. Now let's talk about Category B. We're talking lightly mechanized armies with around 8,000 to 15,000 troops, real tanks, and artillery. This is the gray zone, where raw numbers meet mechanized power. Picture this. A single tank sits on a flat field, but it's surrounded by hundreds of small black dots buzzing in the sky. Instead of firing useless rifles at steel armor, civilians deploy tens of thousands of FPV drones carrying improvised explosives. This is tech that has completely changed modern battlefields. Guided by technical knowledge from the internet, they target the weakest points, like the engine bay or turret hatches. The combination of thermal scopes and a massive drone C could potentially paralyze a mid-sized mechanized force. But let's be realistic. The reality is still brutal. Civilians don't have modern anti-tank missiles or guided weapons. Any private tanks they might have are just demilitarized museum pieces, easily destroyed by professional fire. To win, the citizen army would have to accept a horrifying cost in lives, using their sheer scale to try and collapse the enemy's logistics before they wiped out by artillery. Moving on to categories C and D, this is where all illusions of human waves crumble. Against armies like the UK, France, or China, it doesn't matter if you have 5 million or 15 million shooters. Most civilians would be torn apart by long-range rocket artillery and precision missiles from miles away before they ever even see the enemy. All that clever civilian tech becomes useless. Professional militaries would activate total electronic warfare, locking all radio frequencies and turning millions of drones into useless plastic scrap. On a flat plain with no cover, a force of light infantry with no air defense or long-range artillery is just a giant target for jets and armored brigades. This is where specialized systems, logistical depth, and professional command structure end any debate over numerical superiority. So, what's the real answer? The American Citizen Army could likely only defeat the world's smallest, least equipped militaries. They might surprise a few enemies with FPV drones or night vision, but numbers can never truly replace armored divisions and a unified logistical system. Modern war is a clash of complex systems where steel and discipline remain king. But what do you think? Could the power of millions create a miracle that we've missed? Leave your thoughts in the comments so we can discuss it. And if you want to see another classic clash, check out the video on your screen about what World War II would look like today. Thanks for watching.